Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. Always glad to be talking about comics. And on this episode, I'm chatting with author and creator Neil Moherman. Neil, thank you for joining.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. I am in a state of beard envy right now. Like, is there a beard secret that you can share before we
Um,
explore questions?
don't trim it or do trim it. Just depends on who you're asking. No, I've haven't been clean shaven since 2006 now. So it's been about
Nice.
20 years and it's about here now. It's been down to my belly button. I used to do all the beard competitions and stuff back when I mean, they're still going on, but they're not quite as their heyday as they were in like 2011, 2012, around then. So used to travel a lot
Nice.
doing that, and now I travel a lot doing comic shows. So kind of switched one weird family for another. So, but it's about the same.
Cool, cool, very cool. Uh, I know we're talking about Lorana and you're creating on the episode, and I'm curious about your initiation into this world. What do comics allow you to do in your storytelling?
Um, I've always been into comics. When I was real little, that's what I wanted to do. And then I got a biology degree and did nothing with comics or writing or anything like that. Um, but when I started getting back into wanting to do more creative stuff, more writing, was playing a lot of D&D at that time and writing worlds and stuff, and it kind of fell right into what I was trying to get back into. But I just like the visualness, of comics, instead of like writing
Mhm.
long form prose. I mean, nobody will ever see my writing other than, dialogue and stuff, but I just like it out there and pictures and that more than just using your mind to imagine my words. Or maybe it's just because I don't think my writing's as good as it needs to be to write a book, but yeah, maybe someday.
I appreciate the humility. I appreciate the humility. I'm curious, are there parts of having a degree in biology that kind of inspire you? Does that lend itself to your creating, or is that kind of something that exists in a separate space?
Um, it definitely blurs the lines into some of the stuff. I have a kids series out for it, which kind of gets into a lot of the science, technology, that, and just kind of putting in the little blurbs, little nuggets of information in there, and Lorana's a frog. I kind of have a mild obsession with frogs, so more and more lately. So yeah, it's kind of the lines are blurring and write what you know, I guess. So I know frogs, maybe not demon frogs, but frogs. So
Very true. I was going to ask about the inspirations for Lorana. So it sounds like there's some frog obsession there. Any other ingredients, any sparks that you'd like to mention?
um I've been trying to dip my toes a little bit more into the horror genre. Most of the writing I've done is fantasy heavy. I've one series, Cog and Flame, which is your sword sorcerer fantasy, straight D&D type, and then Doom Speakers, kind of magic powers hidden in a carnival, um, but not straight horror. And I've written a few things and had some ideas. And Walter and I were tossing around some just story ideas, working on it. And when Travis posted looking for authors and teams for the hospice thing, we decided we wanted to pitch something, and I honestly don't remember how we got to wrestling, especially lucha libre wrestling, because I know nothing about it. I mean, I know the base cursory knowledge. Same with regular wrestling. I was never a wrestling fan. I knew about it from friends that were, or whatever pop culture stuff you had, but I never got into it for whatever reason. And then, we just started talking about writing a wrestling book, horror themed wrestling book, and it kind of spun from there. And the demon, the demon Big Jim, named Big Jim, when I was little, my brother used to tell me that if I messed with toads, Big Jim would come and get me. And Big Jim was like a giant toad that would come over the hill and eat me. So, not that I was out there like killing toads or messing with toads, but that was just one of the stories that he told me. So, kind of brought that childhood terror into it. But yeah, it just kind of evolved. I think we were trying to do a like a demon carnival type thing that we had talked about, or a fair, and then it just, yeah, somehow found its way to wrestling. So I'd have to go back through all the old chats and see what stuck on that. So
Nice, nice. Sounds like there's some childhood trauma there from
yeah.
some threats of some frogs. Yeah, I love horror, and I've really gotten into horror the past few years, especially. So curious about your attraction to that and what it's been like to explore some of that part of storytelling.
um it's been interesting. I guess I started writing a little bit more of it, I guess would be more cosmic horror, eldritch horror type things. And I had a whole book out about a couple of girls that find a and they're trying to return it to the sea, and it's kind of messing with the stuff around them, and it's, getting progressively darker. So it's kind of like a ET retelling, but with Cthulhu inspired stuff. And that is written, and it started and then fell through. I'm like, okay, we'll shelve that, kind of get into the next horror genre. And I've just little stories. I think the horror lets you be a little more over the top than some of it.
Mm,
I mean,
hmm.
like, you can do whatever you want in fantasy books, but unless, you know, it's not necessarily expected to be over the top, less grounded. But the horror, especially if it's more the slashery type, you can just get weird with it. And that's one of the things I like working with Walter with, is he's not afraid to get weird. And like the original drawing of Rana, it was my original idea was just, the frog sitting on the shoulder, like a little horned frog, maybe a little demonic. And then it got big. And then Welder just shot me a message one night asking, what if it was just like a demon in a frog suit? So he's in like a really dumb looking frog costume. And,
Mm.
at the very end, you'll see it unzip, but it's the just juxtapositioning of, like the main character killing people in that, and just this kind of dumb looking frog causing it all. So it's, yeah, get weird. That's what I like with it.
Yeah, fun, fun, absolutely. And I believe you were thinking of the deep ones. That was
There we
my
go. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Definitely deep
Yeah.
ones. Yeah,
Yes,
I was
yes.
going towards Murlocs, but that's Blizzard and Overwatch and World of Warcraft and all of that. That's where those are from. But same things, same things. Fish people.
Yes,
So
yes, absolutely. Shout out to Lovecraft and all the things because I love the creativity.
yeah, definitely. Always, always, always.
I was gonna ask about what it was, or what it's been like to collaborate with Walter. So, Walter Ostley is the person that we're
Mhm.
talking about here.
Yep.
Anything
Yeah.
that you'd like to mention about that collaboration?
Oh, so we've worked on quite a few projects together. It started, my first comic, Cog and Flame, was originally drawn by Ethan Brewerton. And when we got to the second issue of it, Ethan didn't want to do the colors anymore. So he tapped Walter, who he's good friends with, to do the colors. And then I pitched him a story and we did the first issue of Doom Speaker, but he was getting busy with some other stuff, so we switched artists on that. And then we took a little break and I don't know, we got started talking about for another project for Travis, which was in the Cthulhu Invades fairy tales. We did a Raven and a Pitcher story, but with dwarves. So that kind of got him back a little bit. And then, yeah, just continued work right into this pretty much right after that, working with. But he's definitely pushed my writing skills further. Just I'll give him what I think is a draft and tell him to tear it up, do whatever with. His ideas, like the whole ending of this, is pretty much Walter's ideas, and other people I've worked with do a good job of no, this doesn't work. Let's split into these panels, but Walter will just take something and run with it and really push it to be the best that it can. So I'm always grateful working with him, and his art style's incredible. It's one of my favorites.
Uh, well, speaking of that idea of making something the best it can be, just curious about what makes, in your view, a good story. What works well in a story?
Um, I'm always drawn to characters. Just characters that show some kind of growth, dynamic characters. If we're talking comics, I'm going to be drawn to artwork first off the bat. There's definitely artists I follow more than writers when I'm picking up. I like, oh, this artist has a new book. I'll go check it out and read. I'll read stuff that I normally wouldn't because of the artist doing it. I definitely follow plenty of writers and do the same thing, but it's really the art for me a lot of times. So just that combination of good characters and cool art, that's what really draws me in.
That's nice. Well, if I'm a listener that is not familiar with your work, what should new readers expect? What can we sort of be on the lookout for?
Um, Bad jokes. Um, especially the kids 1/4 that we're putting out. That's my wife commented that it was just my outlet for the worst dad jokes, the worst puns I could get in there. No, just I don't know. I like to think I write characters well and have good dialogue, but just weird. I like things that are a little more off the beaten path, weird stories, some weird characters. So I try to avoid, your common tropes of things, but they're there for a reason. But I like to take familiar things and kind of spin them in different ways, maybe.
Cool. Have we missed anything that you want to make sure to include about the book, about your work before we get to the final question? Um, I should probably ask, what's it been like to work with Travis?
Oh, Travis has been great. I randomly sat with Travis at the Ringo Awards a few years ago when they were up for one of the Cthulhu invades. I think it was Alice in Wonderland, maybe. I'm not sure. But
Mhm.
I was the only one at their table not involved with the Cthulhu invade stuff. So I kind of weirdly became an honorary member, and I don't know. I just kept bugging him about stuff. So,
Nice.
uh, you know, we've got on his Discord channel and just I think what he's doing for that side of the community is great. Definitely putting a lot of people together that wouldn't have been together, creating opportunities, and even just you know other artists, other writers that I hadn't talked to just from that space that he's made. So it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. If I want to find out more, if I want to support the work and get copies, where might I go to do that?
All of my socials are Neil Moherman Comics. That's Moherman. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can find me. I have a Substack that I probably should use more, but it's along the same. It will be Rana will be launching on Kickstarter. Hopefully, the first week in March is when we're going to
Cool.
launch that. So um, keep an eye on it. If you follow any of the hospice stuff, it'll be posted on that, or yeah, just find on social media.
Cool, cool. Neil, you're always welcome here. Glad to chat with you
Yeah, it
and
was
many
nice
thanks for the
talking.
conversation.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
thank
absolutely.
you.
Thanks for what you're doing in comics and may the creating continue.
Thank you.